Okay, Goggle. Well, computers have been divided into categories. Starting from the smallest, the first category can be called mobile computers. The most important point here is that users can carry them around easily. Laptops, tablets, PDAs, PMPs are all mobile computers.
Yes, I have seen people walking around with tablets and laptops.
Next comes microcomputers. A microcomputer can be used by only one person at a time. The desktop you are using is a microcomputer. It is also called a PC, which means a personal computer. Computers larger than microcomputers are called mini computers. They are somewhat the size of that fridge over there. Then we have what are known as mainframes. Mainframes are big, powerful, expensive, multi-user computers. They are mainly used for bulk data processing in large organizations like governments, airlines, and banks. IBM Z Enterprise and Unisys ClearPath are some examples of mainframe. Finally, we have the supercomputers. They are the most powerful computers of all as well as the biggest. Some occupy halls up to 1000 square meter in area. They can also process trillions of instructions per second. Governments, large industries, and research organizations use them for work that requires a lot of numeric calculations such as weather forecasting.
Wow, that's amazing! Thanks, Toggle. That was really interesting.
So, Goggle, you must be fully clear on hardware, input, and output devices by now.
Yeah, sort of.
I know that the physical components of a computer or the parts you can see and touch are called hardware. Absolutely right. And some examples are?
Well, let's see. The monitor, the mouse, etc. are hardware.
Correct.
But I'm still not very clear on the various input and output devices. There are so many of them, Toggle.
Don't worry. Let's take them up one by one. First of all, what are input devices?
Input devices are devices that accept input from the user and convert it into a form that the computer can understand.
Well done. Now there are different kinds of input devices. The mouse and the keyboard are the most common ones. Some others have specialized uses. For example, supermarkets, banks, etc. use various special input devices to collect large amounts of data rapidly. Such devices include barcode readers, magnetic ink character readers, optical character readers, and card readers.
What is a barcode, Toggle?
Look at this toffee box for example. See these vertical bars? They together form a barcode and it includes all the information such as price, place of manufacture, etc. The barcode for each product is a unique combination of vertical bars that represents product information like the price. A barcode reader is used to scan the code and the information is passed on to a computer. The computer uses the information to identify the product. Goggle, do you know what MICR is?
I have read that it stands for Magnetic Ink Character Recognition.
That's right. And what is magnetic ink? Magnetic ink is a special ink that contains magnetic particles of iron oxide.
Okay.
A magnetic ink character reader is a type of input device that can scan characters printed in magnetic ink. MICR is used extensively in banks. See this check? The check number, bank code, and branch code are printed in magnetic ink. Do you know how the amount written in ordinary ink on this check is read?
How, Toggle?
For that, we use a device called an optical character reader, and this process is called
Optical character recognition. My teacher told me.
That's right, Goggle. Okay, now have you seen this sheet?
I once filled up the answers to a quiz competition on such a form.
Yes, such forms are commonly used in multiple choice examinations or quizzes. The boxes or circles are filled using a dark pencil or an ink to indicate the answers. This sheet is then fed into an optical mark reader which scans and prints the result. Another interesting input device is a card reader. Do you know what it is meant for?
No, Toggle.
Card readers are used to read information on cards such as credit cards and smart cards. Credit cards are example of magnetic strip cards. Information in the form of numbers and characters is magnetically stored on a magnetic strip. When the card is swiped through a magnetic card reader, it reads the information quickly and accurately. Smart cards, on the other hand, contain a small chip instead of a magnetic strip. A smart card reader can read and write data on the card. Petrol companies and departmental stores use smart cards to keep track of how many points customers have earned by buying goods. So, that's about input devices.
That was interesting, Toggle.
Shall we take up output devices now?
Yes, Toggle. I know something about output devices. Output devices convey information from the computer to the user.
Absolutely. Apart from printers and monitors, some other output devices are LCD projectors, braille printers, and plotters. An LCD is also called a liquid crystal display projector. It shows the output from a computer on a large screen. It is commonly used for displaying presentations during meetings and conferences.
What's a braille printer, Toggle?
A braille printer produces braille printouts of computer files, which helps blind people to read. It works with software that translates text to braille. A plotter is a printing device that is used for creating high-quality graphics, charts, graphs, tables, and diagrams. They are commonly used by architects. Well, that's about input and output devices. I must rush now. I'm due for some upgradations. Bye for now.
Bye, Toggle. Thanks, and see you later. Toggle, what exactly is software?
Okay, before I answer that, tell me, which Windows version do you have on your system?
Windows 7. Why?
Well, Windows 7 is an example of software. Software refers to computer programs that are needed for running or operating a computer system. A program is a sequence of step-by-step instructions in machine language instructing the computer to perform a particular task.
How many types of software are there?
Software are of two main types, system software and application software. System software refers to programs designed to control the operation of a computer system. Operating systems,
Compilers,
assemblers, interpreters, and drivers are all system software. An operating system is the master control program that runs the computer. A driver is a computer program that enables computer programs to interact with a hardware device. You may have seen a driver being installed when you plug in a pen drive for the first time.
Yes, I have. Tell me, Toggle, what's the difference between compilers and interpreters? I think they do the same job.
True, Goggle, but in different ways. Both compilers and interpreters are programs that translate a high-level computer language code into machine language code. The difference is that a compiler first reads the whole program, translates it into machine language at one go, and executes the entire program, while an interpreter translates one statement at a time, executes it, and then moves on to the next statement or command. Finally, an assembler is a program that translates an assembly language program into a machine language program. Now, application software are designed to help users do some type of work. Application software can be classified into two categories: packages and utilities. A package is a computer application consisting of one or more programs created to do a particular type of work. For instance, the popular MS Office software.
So, what is a utility?
A utility, on the other hand, is a program designed for maintenance of the system and its components. An antivirus software is a good example of a utility.
You know, Toggle, I know 4 languages. How many do you know?
I'm supposed to know only one machine language, but I have managed to install software by which I can understand your language directly too.
What is different about computer languages? And what is machine language?
A computer language is a language that a programmer uses to write programs that can be used to communicate with a computer. Since a computer cannot take decisions by itself, it is made to take commands and instructions. These set of commands and instructions are called programs.
Wow, I want to know more.
Sure. Computer languages can be divided into low and high-level languages. Low-level languages are of two types: machine and assembly languages. Machine language is the only language that a computer directly understands. In order to write a machine language program for a computer, the programmer must know details of its hardware. Assembly language, developed in 1950, was the first computer language to use words made with letters of the alphabet. In assembly language, each instruction to the computer is written using a letter combination that tells the computer where data is and what to do with it.
What makes high-level languages different?
High-level languages use English language words and mathematical symbols, and they have made computer programming much simpler. Some examples of high-level languages are BASIC, COBOL, Fortran, C, C++, and Java. A very important point here is that unlike low-level languages, high-level languages are machine-independent. It implies that they can run on various types of computers without needing any change. So, you don't have to worry about using them only on a specific machine.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes, isn't it? Now you know so much more about computers.
Yes, all thanks to you.